Wet roads, dangerous sprint, very, very fast, damp conditions. Jonathan Cruz up there, Rory Sexton up there.
And Kieran Power is there as well from the Irish team. That was a close one. Power punches thin air. He's happy that he got it, and he did, from Danny Moore. Jonathan Cruz had a puncture 6 miles from the end there, changed wheels and got back on it again. Seamus Shortall there, checking the computer printout. Jack Watson has a look, and they're happy. Anyway, it's Aidan Duff still in control of the race, and we've moved on to Thursday, stage 5, Castlebar to Longford, 76 miles.
Slightly relaxed feeling in the bunch, and they've actually allowed the 4 girls in the race go ahead and tried to take the first sprint. These girls building up a lead of some 6 minutes along the road. Mary Riley, number 49, Helena Kinsella, number 51, Claire Moore, number 48, and Susan O'Mara, number 84. But they were roped in before Claire Morris, and this Preem, again, Jonathan Cruz taking the Preem and Claire Morris.
What a week on the Preems for Jonathan Cruz of Bray Wheelers. Just referring back to that just before we saw the 4 ladies there, it's the first time I've ever seen a cycling version of the Mexican Wave.
As they head for the stage finish in Longford,
A bit of a detour on this stage through some narrow roads, which hopefully would have assisted an escape. But Duff, the yellow jersey, the leader, in no trouble. And in all the little towns and townlands, good crowds out to see the Junior Tour, which shows you that there's still that reservoir of spectators there for cycling in Ireland. Bring back the Tour.
Ian Mountain here from Manchester, taking the Mountain Preem.
What a naply name rider.
Indeed, yeah, one of the top British international riders on the national squad. Ian Mountain trying to go for the King of the Mountains jersey. Aidan Duff looking back for assistance, looking back for the riders to come up and try and move. As again, one of the British riders looks like Neil Smith of the British team going on the attack. Neil Smith brought a breakaway group of some 5 riders clear, and Smith taking the stage finish.
From Barry Whelan and Chris Lawler of Drogheda in 3rd position, and it's a great gallop for the minor placings, and significantly the yellow jersey is there, which means just back 15 seconds. Hobby was there as well, so no change on GC. And yet another for the collection. He gets a different yellow jersey every day. No doubt he'll keep them in the wardrobe somewhere and show them in years to come. They're now down in the northeast of the country, going to move from Longford to Dundalk in the County Louth, 68 miles. It's Friday of this week-long tour.
First Preem of the day, again, Jonathan Cruz becoming a specialist at taking the Preems. And the whole bunch rolling through behind. As we're heading up into the northeast through County Cavan, riders being warned to watch out for the road surface. Michael Woods taking one of the early mountain Preems.
Ballyborough in the County Cavan, and the band is out to welcome them. Been a good bit of reaction around the country to the Junior Tour. It's nice to see, and it must be encouraging for you, Pat, with thoughts of revival of the Senior Tour, the pros.
Yes, it would be. I mean, the crowds have been very big all week, even for this race, and there is, as you say, a reservoir of cycling interest around the country, and there's no reason why the pro race or the Tour of Ireland itself couldn't go back. Jonathan Cruz back looking for his team car, and very nearly runs into a rider who's looking for a wheel change. But the police up front doing excellent work in stopping the traffic as young Barry Whelan goes on the attack. Whelan having a very, very good week and a very, very aggressive rider throughout the last couple of days, and here he is on the attack again. Keith Fox there with him as well, of the Eastern region. 30 seconds to gap, 64 miles covered, and only 4 miles to go. Whelan and Fox.
These two broke away with 6 miles to the finish. And it would be most appropriate if that's the way they stayed to the finish, and that's the way it is. And it's Barry Whelan of Lejeune who takes it. Keith Fox is going to be in 2nd place, and the yellow jersey is 3rd. It's Duff again at 5 seconds. So overall, he's increased his lead on general classification, has Duff, by 1 second.
Yes, and a good stage win there for Barry Wheeling, improving on his second place of the previous day.
Saturday is the day, the penultimate stage that they'll go through and over the Cooley Mountains. It's the first category climb on this particular stage at the famous Long Woman's Grave. In all, the stage is going to take them 42 miles from Dundalk to Newry. It isn't, of course, that far if you're driving on the main road, not by a long shot. They're taking 3 times the normal distance.
And just to show you the preparation and the interest that the riders have in this, Aidan Duff actually studied a video of the Nissan Classic on this climb a couple of weeks ago, just to make himself aware and assure himself that he could get up the climb without any trouble, and which he did.
One of his main contenders is Richard Hobby, and you just saw Hobby out of the, just flashing through a picture there, but immediately was covered by Duff. They're in Carlingford. That's the old railway station, the Dundalk, Newry and Grenoble Railway, which is just out to the right there. As they're coming into the narrow streets of Carlingford and County Louth, and then out the road towards Omeath. Carlingford Lock on the right, but no time to view the scenery for these young men. Still a lovely part of the world. And you wonder as you look, particularly at the Irish lads here, Pat, when we just take this screen through, it couldn't be again, is it? It is. Jonathan Cruz should change his name to Jonathan Preem Cruz.
The stage win in Newry from Rory Sexton of Hilltown, another rider who's been very aggressive during the week and finally getting his well-deserved stage win.
And Cruz is second, and Duff, the race leader, third, and Hobby was fourth. And so there is just one stage to go. But first, a little Dixie. We're back in Bourbon Street, and Jojo McCormick, the man who's put so much time, effort and love into the organisation of the Junior Tour. The trophy awaiting the winner. It's foot-tapping time. Thanks, Satchmo. Another yellow jersey for Aidan Duff. So he's worn it from start to finish, and he's only got to stay on the bike now to get yet another one at the end of the day, the most important one of all. And the question we were going to ask, Pat, is there anybody like, for instance, Duff, who might be coming through to be the new Irish hope in the pro game, maybe?
Yes, I think this race has thrown up a couple of very good prospects for the future. I think Duff, of course, being one of them, young Jonathan Cruz, Barry Whelan, Rory Sexton, young McGuinness. I mean, there are 4 or 5 or 6 riders here who, if they progress well and if they progress into the senior ranks and have continued success and are continue the dedication which they obviously have at the moment, I think they should do well, because it's not just the ability to ride the race, and which, like Duff certainly has shown, but the aggression that comes with these youngsters. And if they can keep this aggression through the senior ranks and not be content to wait for bunch finishes and things like this, I think they certainly could become very, very good riders.
Nonetheless, it's fair to say that chances of pro contracts on the continent of Europe have diminished somewhat in recent years. An influx, of course, of men from the former Eastern Europe, particularly the USSR, has meant that there's been an overflow, really, of top-class cyclists, so it's difficult to get a contract.
It is difficult, but there's no point in getting a contract unless you've got the ability, and if you have the ability and you want to do it and you can do it, well, then the contract should be there for you. But it means setting your sights high, and it means aiming for the top. And for some of these riders, there's no reason why they shouldn't aim for the top. There's no use in that in going for second best.
Well, that's part of what they'll have to deal with if they get to the continent, the Pavé. There's a nice circuit, Criterium circuit in Newry.
Very dangerous for the yellow jersey, this, because with no big string of team cars following, if the yellow jersey were to get a puncture, it would be very difficult for him to get back onto the field, and they always worry about criteriums and short circuits like that.
Do your stuff, Duff. Go for it, Aidan. And here he is, doing precisely that, as the banners proclaimed and requested. Aidan Duff, Bray Wheelers, but representing the Ireland team on this Credit Union Junior Tour, wearing the yellow jersey from day one, the opening stage, and wearing it with a great deal of honour, a lot of aggression, good concentration, and a lot of ability. And the final checkered flag of the week, and Jonathan Cruz, the Preem star, wins the stage. Wonderful win for him. Barry Whelan in there as well, Raymond Corbin, and of course, the inevitable Duff. What a winner. You don't argue with a man who's worn yellow for the entire race.
certainly you don't. And I see Peter Creaney there in the crowd looking at him, and he's a man who will certainly hope to see Duff progress into the pro ranks in the future. But a superb win for Aidan Duff. First rider to win this race by holding yellow jersey from the very start to the very finish.
Yes, a super performance indeed by Aidan Duff. Right from the roads we go to the high seas. We're going sailing after this.